PDF.
Yeah.
चलिए मैरिन स्टार्ट कीजिए.
Okay. Hello, myself Marin and I'm an assistant professor at Bishopmoor College, Mavidikara, under the Kerala University, and I'm a research scholar as well. So this is about one of my paper which published last year, the real use of red brain. So I don't know how many of you are heard about red brain. What is the historical perspective of this red brain? It is initially it is written the Homer's Iliad. Those who are from the literature background knows Homer's Iliad, and in that there was the first mention about the red brain. Even in Bible itself, there is a remarkable marking about red rain as an end of the world. And there were several studies in Kerala and all over the India as well. It is something from extraterrestrial. That is, it is coming from some other planet. So the red rain is coming, it's not from this planet. This is from some other planets. And this is the breakage of some fragile cometary meter. And coming to the worldwide scenario, it is reported from Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Italy, and it is reported worldwide. So coming to the status of India, in 2001, 124 cases are reported from Kerala. It is of sporadic occurrence in Kerala in 2001, 2004, 2020. In many events, in many days, it has reported from Kerala. The hypothesis and misconceptions about this, it is of extraterrestrial influence. The breakage of some fragile cometary meter might be the reason for this red rain. And it is just a plume of dust. The dust from the Saharan area has came to Kerala and it is showering here as red rain. And there were also studies like this might be the spore of Chlamydomonas nivalis. This is an algae, Chlamydomonas nivalis. That spore might be the red rain. The Felix Bass from Central University, Punjab, had reported that Trendifolia is the reason for the red rain. And there were also several misconceptions behind that. So we've gone through the literature, and this is one of the paper came in Nature in 1903. And in that paper, one of the famous scientists has noted that I regret not having had time to make a separate investigation of this. In Nature, 1903, a famous scientist had written like this. He is regretful for not making a thorough investigation regarding red rain. And there were also studies related to Australian origin of red rain in New Zealand. So something from the Australia had showered in New Zealand. So what are the aims of the study? The causal factor for the red rain is living or not. Whether the red rain is caused by a living organism or not. If it is non-living, what is the chemical composition of the compound? If it is living, what is the morphological and molecular characterization? How it is looking like? And major aim is the key factor or the compound which imparts the characteristic color to the red rain. We need to know what is the key compound is giving this color. And methodology, we had gone through collection, physiochemical analysis, heavy metal analysis, morphological analysis, lab culturing, molecular analysis, molecular evolutionary genetic analysis, Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy, gas chromatography, and mass spectroscopic analysis. Those from the science background may not know this. Yeah. This is a beautiful village, a nearby village in Kuriadi, a sea area where beachside, where Kuriadi Kozhikode district had experienced the red rain in 2 consecutive years they experienced. So during the June-July, that time they experienced the red rain. So we had an earlier information that the last year there were red rain. So we gave some sterilized bottles to them and said to collect the same when the next spell occurs. So they collected the red brain the next year. Microscopic evaluation. So fragmented filaments of Trendifolia species we could observe in the red brain. So you can see the pictures over here. This was the content we observed in the red brain. There were several biological spores, not just the algae, there were bacteria, there were some other algae, few chlorella, Celidesmus, these all are algae. In addition to that, we noted, you can see in the picture A, there was an apical cap, a cap-like structure was there. So this is a characteristic feature of Trendifolia aviatia. So we made much studies on that. See, we collected the red brain and these were the spores of different stages you can see here, and they are in the growing phase. So this is the red brain we collected. Earlier there were studies like red brain is thermophilic, means they can survive under high temperature and they can grow under high temperature. Such studies were happened in Kerala. This red brain can survive under high temperature, high pressure. They grow under high pressure. They having DNA, but they are not viable. They possess the DNA, but they are not viable. Such studies were there. So I had an intuition like how the thing without having DNA cannot grow. How the DNA can survive under high temperature pressure conditions of extreme climatic conditions. So we kept them under different conditions. Under the direct sunlight, we kept them in the refrigerator. We kept under the laboratory condition as well as under the direct sunlight. So we kept them under white light. The things kept in the white light and the direct sunlight gradually lost its color. But those kept in the refrigerator kept its color as such. And we cultivated them in the lab. So you can see the different stages of germination of this red brain spore. Initially, it was a round, then it is enlarged, and then the daughter cell has formed, and the daughter cell again forms some protuberance, and the protuberance grown into an individual Trendifolia filament. The molecular characterization and the phylogenetic analysis also confirmed that the Trendifolia is the cause of the red brain. Then coming to the physiochemical analysis, we collected the red rain as well as the normal rainwater from this Kozhikode district. From the 22 sites, we collected the normal rainwater and we compared the normal rainwater with the red rainwater, and we got certain parameters that distinct from the normal rain, that they had much more turbidity, and the normal rain is colorless, but it is having color ratio more than 20. And the turbidity as well, they were much turbid. And coming to the intensive coupled plasma spectroscopy, we done it to know whether it is with the presence of iron or some other chemical it is showing the color. There were not much the color for the copper, zinc, nickel, cobalt, manganese, chromium, lead. They were not present there. So this is the comparison of red rainwater from the Kozhikode with the rainwater sample. And yeah, FTIR and GCMS, Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy and gas chromatography mass spectroscopy gave a conclusion that this is just because of the presence of the pigment carotene, the red brain is having this color. So I want to conclude where the curiosity is the very basis of education. But actually, teachers must be curious for all the things happen around us. Once a teacher is always a teacher. A teaching is not something that is happening from 9:30 to 4, 5. It is, a teacher is always a teacher. Till our death, we are teachers, even after the death as well. Many of our students may say, this teacher, Marin, she died this year, or like that. So a teacher is always a teacher. So we must be curious, even while cooking, even with our kid, even when we are with in-laws. So everywhere, we need to be curious. So for us, as ladies as concerned, we, after our setting a family, we might get into getting our own time. We will be struggling to find our own time. But the thing is, bloom where we are planted. We can bloom. Still, we have the time. Still, even when cooking, even we mix certain dishes, we mix certain taste. We can go for the patent for that also. We can cook. We can find out new tastes. So everywhere we just need to be curious. We just need to be curious to learn, students. We just need to be take care of the kids. Curiosity is the very basis of education. That I would say. Thank you.
Thank you, Marin. Thank you very much. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, sir.
थोड़ा सा आवाज डिस्टर्ब थी मैरिन की आज, है ना? फिर भी उसने रेड वाइन से रेड वाइन से लेके फिर पंजाई के ऊपर में उसका अच्छा डिस्क्रिप्शन था, लाइट, कोल्ड, चेंजेस ऑफ फंजाई, shapes of fungi. Very good. And in
Thank
the
you.
last, curiosity of education, है ना?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. ऐसे ही थोड़ा थोड़ा सुनना। अ, अच्छा अच्छा प्रेजेंटेशन था। कोई और डिस्क्राइब करेगा इनके प्रेजेंटेशन को?
Yes, sir. I would like
Yes.
to.
हाँ, yes,
Yes, sir.
हम्म,
Marin ma'am was actually, she was talking about the study she has carried out on the red rain in Kerala.
Yes, sir.
Am I right? Ma'am, am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They have published this paper in aerobiology.
Yes, yes.
And that's I'm looking at the paper right now. I have directly reached to that because they have found some algae that are basically attributing color to the rain.
Yes, yes.
So they have been able to basically to elucidate the origin and characteristics of the using the microscopic evaluation, DNA sequencing, Fourier transform, infrared spectroscopy, gas chromatography, mass spectroscopy, and other phylogenetic analysis. They have been able to find out what is the basic reason behind the color of the rain that in Kerala, and they have observed that there is PSI carotene 3,4 if I am not wrong, it is dihydro 1278 tetrahydro 1 methoxy 2 oxo and PSI and carotene 3344 tetra dihydro 12 dihydro 1 hydroxy methoxy in the algae.
Yes, sir.
Centrifolia abiantina as the primary contributor to the red color that was observed in the rain. Sir,
Yes.
you said it is one of the best studies they have carried out on the real hues. That means shades, different shades of the red rain in Kerala.
Well, we had done several other studies. Like we done the ability to survive under high temperature. We kept them in the autoclave. We kept.
Ma'am, I have one question.
Yes.
I would like to know what led basically what is the basic origin of this algae? ये कहाँ से आया हुआ है? It is native or it has come from outside? Because there are dust storms that bring lot of material from the sub-Saharan Africa towards the Asia and other countries. That may be one of the reasons that have given color to the rain.
Sir, I shall. Okay. Sir, the basic thing is this Trendifolia. If you go and learn about this Trendifolia, they shout out, like they spread their spore, like to disseminate to longer distance. For the geographical extension of the species, they spread their spore. They can spread their spores to kilometers and kilometers. And it is not from a tiny algal filament. They can produce thousands and millions of the spore. We observe the release of the spore from the Trendifolia. Like we kept the algal culturing medium in the sanctuary, Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary, and nearby areas. So for kilometers and kilometers, they can spread their spore. Spore is like the spore. If you have observed certain rotten vegetables, there will be black colored fungus, right? It is they will also release the spore. Spore is like it is for the dissemination for the generation. It is the geographical extension of the species. So this way they used to replicate or they used to duplicate. So yeah,
Okay.
that way they can spread their spore. There were studies last year. There was also a paper in Nature about the spread of the algae, not just the Trendifolia. The algae is also a tool to evaluate the quality of air. There are certain toxic algae, which is if it is the spore is present there, we can conclude that that air is polluted, or that the person who are living there can have certain infectious diseases. So algae is also a benchmark tool to demarcate the quality of the air as well. So it is just a means of the geological extension of the species.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank
It
you.
means, Marin, ki we don't know the native place of this algae. For example, some algae they can only grow in, you can say, that warm environment, yeah, cold environment. So we don't know the main native place of this algae. That where does it start spreading out?
Actually, they are corticolous means something growing on the bark of the tree. Bark of the tree bark, right?
Yes,
So there
ma'am, I
are
got it.
algae which survive on the leaves. So
Yeah.
most of the studies are about the aquatic forms, those surviving in the water. It is living in the polluted water. Actually, just to disseminate much of the pollutant, it is phytoremediation means the algae grows to take out the eutrophication or the enriched nutrients in the water, so they can absorb the nutrients from the water. So they grow as a bloom in water. So such studies are there going on, but there are limited studies about the terrestrial group of algae.
Ma'am, basically Manisha ma'am is trying to ask whether these are exotic, whether these are invasive species or indigenous species.
Yeah, I am
Because
coming to that.
there is a in ecology there is a problem that's called invasive species or exotic species, which do not
Yeah.
belong to this our country, but have been brought or intentionally or unintentionally they have been brought to to our country, and they are resulting in ecological harm.
Yeah, they are native to Kerala. They are here in Kerala. If you go
Okay,
to the
ma'am.
wildlife areas, if you go to Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary, you can see acres of land being invaded by this algae. The bark
Okay.
of the tree entirely invaded by the algae. You can see.
Okay.
We
That
may
means they are
feel that the
natives, they are
bark is red.
indigenous.
Yeah, it is
Okay, ma'am.
indigenous here.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much.
सर मुझे कुछ कहना है
हामिद
संजीव
हामिद
सर
Yes,
हामिद
ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
आपकी
हेलो
शक्ल नहीं
हाँ
देखने मिलती यार, इतना अच्छा डिस्क्राइब करते हो, इतना
Yes, sir.
ब्यूटीफुल.
Sir, I am here, sir.
आई एम
Here at your disposal, sir.
He is very intelligent, है, very good, very good.
Thank
It's
you so
सर
बड़ी अच्छी
सर
अच्छी
मुझे
बात.
कुछ कहना है
हाँ हाँ बोलिए.
हाँ
Yes.
सर जो रिगार्डिंग अलगी है ना, तो अलगी इवन आई एम ग्रोइंग इन माय कॉलेज इन द अर्बोर एक्वा जो रिगार्डिंग द ओरिजिन, अगर मैं स्पायरोलिना की बात करूँ, स्पायरोलिना अलगी आई एम ग्रोइंग. सो इन आवर कॉलेज जिसका जो ओरिजिन है, जब बारिश जब होती है ना, बारिश, तो जो बारिश की बूंदें जो सरफेस पे पड़ती है, जिसकी शाइनिंग ब्लूइश ग्रीनिश कलर के जो जमीन पे पड़ी कभी कभी शाइनिंग देती है, तो उसके कल्चर्स हम उसको लेके कल्चर ग्रो करके हम उसका जो प्रोडक्शन बढ़ाते हैं. जैसे हम लोग दही बनाते हैं तो जावन रखते हैं, तो समझो वो कल्चर ऐसा हम लोग जो सरफेस से निकालते हैं. रेन और जब बारिश बहुत होती है, ड्राई होने पे उसकी जो ऊपर की पपड़ी जैसी रहती है, हम लोग कल्चर ग्रो करके भी ना स्पायरोलिना ग्रो करते हैं. जो एट प्रेजेंटली मैं लाइब्रेरी में हूँ, मैं अपने लैब में होती तो मैं आपको उसका वीडियोस अभी बता देती कि स्पायरोलिना जो मैं कमर्शियल बेसिस पे ग्रो करती हूँ.
Ma'am,
अभी मैं
spirulina is
लाइब्रेरी
being
में
used as a food as well.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yes,
This
yes,
soil
it
is
is having,
very
yes, I'm
good also.
commercially बेसिस पे ग्रो करती हूँ। और एक हमको एक इचनो की है, इकोनॉमिकल बॉटनी एक पेपर होता है अलगी के बारे में, क्योंकि जो अलगी चाहे वो लेक्स हो, पॉन्ड्स हो, जगह कहीं डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ अलगी है, एंथोसाइनिन पिग इज अ पिगमेंट। तो ये जो मोस्ट ऑफ द जो एनवायरमेंटल पॉल्यूशंस होता है ना, 50% ऑफ पॉल्यूशंस आर अब्जॉर्बिंग दो दे आर अंडर वाटर, इवन दे आर ऑब्जर्विंग द हेवी मेटल। जो कंपनीज जो फैक्ट्रीज
Yes,
के
ma'am.
जो पोल्यूटेड वाटर पानी में जाते हैं, उसके
They
बावजूद
can be
भी वो
used as
हेवी मेटल
bioremediation
फिल्टर
tools.
होने के बाद में भी उसमें ना हेवी बायो रेमेडिएशन, यस बायो रेमेडिएशन फाइटर,
Yes,
तो
ma'am.
उसमें क्या होता है कि वो उतना फिल्टर होने के बाद में भी उसमें हेवी मेटल्स रहते हैं। अभी मैंने अपना रिसर्च वर्क में मैंने तालाब का पानी लिया है, जो पर्टिकुलर एरिया में रह रही हूँ मैं, तो उसमें भी मेरे को हेवी मेटल इतने डेंजरस वाले मिले हैं, वी कैन नॉट इमेजिन कि इतना मिलेगा करके, इतना अमाउंट में हमको मिला है हेवी मेटल्स। ऐसा है दो आफ्टर द फिल्ट्रेशन फ्रॉम द कंपनीज और एनी इंडस्ट्रीज आल्सो आई गॉट द रिजल्ट्स इन माय पेपर। वो जो तालाब का जो बहुत ही ज्यादा माइक्रो एल्गी है, वैसे और भी अदर एल्गी पे काम कर रही हूँ, बट स्पायरुलिना का जो कल्चर है, जो इसका ओरिजिन है, वो बारिश के पानी से गिरे हुए से जो ड्राई हो जाता है ना, उसकी जो पपड़ी निकलती है, वो ऐसा कल्चर हम ग्रो करते हैं। इवन देयर इज लॉट ऑफ टिश्यू मेथड ऑल्सो मेकिंग द algae color also।
Ma'am.
वो उसमें
Okay,
ना
Bhavna, we will
ठंडक
get in
मिलती
touch.
है, एयर गुड
आदिल
पीस मिलता है
जी जी
algae में।
सर।
आदिल स्पोर्निमा क्या बता रहे हो, जो खाने के भी काम आता है, मैं एक साइंटिस्ट।
Spirulina.
हाँ,
Yes yes sir,
उनका मैं लेक्चर
in
कराता हूँ
not only food items sir, not
थर्सडे
sir,
को।
not in a
थर्सडे
Yes.
good nutritional
थर्सडे
food, हाँ sir।
थर्सडे को प्रोफेसर सुरेंद्र सिंह का लेक्चर कराता हूँ इस पे,
ओके सर।
है ना। वो अपने घर में जनरेट करते हैं।
धान
और
के खेत में सर, धान के
हाँ,
खेत में होता है एजोस्पाइरलम। जो हम
हाँ,
धान उगाते हैं राइस
हाँ,
के नीचे, वहां पे होता है एजोस्पाइरलम, बिकॉज दीज आर फ्री फ्लो, फ्री।
हाँ sir,
जी। हेलो।
rainy season।
तो वो जो है ना आदिल, उनका
जी,
लेक्चर थर्सडे को कराते हैं मॉर्निंग में।
दैट विल
ठीक
बी।
है,
जी सर,
मॉर्निंग
वंडरफुल।
में वो टेरेस गार्डन के ऊपर में बोलेंगे, इस पॉलिमर के बारे में भी आप लोगों को बताएंगे कैसे कैसे क्या, उनका बहुत बड़ा प्रोजेक्ट था। ही इज वेरी गुड
एल्गी
साइंटिस्ट।
सर, एल्गी बहुत ज्यादा अहमियत रखता है। दीज आर कंसिडर्ड एज फोर्थ जनरेशन फ्यूअल्स।
यस, फोर्थ
गवर्नमेंट ऑफ
जनरेशन, वेरी गुड।
गवर्नमेंट ऑफ गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया इज स्पेंडिंग लॉट ऑफ मनी on
या,
biofuels, on biodiesel. They
यस,
want to replace the traditional conventional fuel by the biodiesel and biofuels,
यस,
and they have
यस।
lot of potential.
May
चलो
I
अच्छा।
know who is talking this?
सर एफ हमारे बॉटनी में ना FI BSc में ना ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग करके सिलेबस में दिया है सर बच्चों को, FI BSc में आप इन एनईपी।
चलिए, थैंक यू सो मच, थैंक यू सो मच मैरिन। एंड
Thank you, sir.
इतना अच्छा तुम्हारे उस पर डिस्कशन हुआ। और थर्सडे को प्रोफेसर सुरेंद्र सिंह का लेक्चर होगा इस पे, ठीक है। और बहुत आप लोग को मजा आएगा। टेरेस गार्डन प्लस दिस एल्गी एंड स्पोर्निपा क्या बोलते हैं वो, ठीक। अच्छा, रहना, आर यू रेडी फॉर प्रेजेंटेशन?
जी सर, यस सर, यस सर,
जस्ट अ मिनट, जस्ट अ
शेयर करती थी।